I remember it was like at first sight, not necessarily love, but there was something that I connected right away. I don't remember what exactly we were doing the one night, but I remember coming home, laying in bed and thinking to myself, with a best friend like this, who needs a boyfriend? And you think I would have clued in there, but no, I need to be hit over the head for things to be obvious.
Hey, this is where I want to be in life, and Megan is the person that I like to come home to every day. I don't want to be without her. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it, right? So that's what I went with.
Make you well. Give me reasons to believe that you would do the same for me, and I will do it for you.
When I first met Megan, I was just new to the Netherlands, and the exchange organization that we went through had organized welcome drinks for me.
I had heard from one of my friends who worked for the student organization that the new German guy was here. She ran into him in the supermarket. He was so sweet and so charming and really upbeat.
It was just fantastic to be around her. We spent probably 3 or 4 days a week after work together. And
I actually remember Phil telling one of our mutual friends that he had feelings for me, and her promising not to say anything, and yeah, she couldn't keep that a secret.
Just before she left, she was like, I don't want a long distance relationship and this is not gonna work. I was thinking, okay, let's say yes to that, but I'm gonna convince her differently once she's back in Canada.
I mean, we were emailing each other at least once a day. We were Skyping each other at least once an hour, and then my jealousy kicked in, and I think I finally just shared my emotions with him and said, you know, this is how I'm feeling. I want you to myself. I don't want to share you.
Megan made it very clear that she's not going to move to Germany, so if I wanted this to work, I would have to move to Canada.
Phil was awesome enough to say he was going to move to Canada.
Well, first of all, I was still studying once we became a couple, so my financial situation was a little bit pressed.
I'm not known to be the most patient person.
So at some point Megan was saying, okay, either you come over here now or this is off. So next day I actually bought a ticket and came over here.
So we initially moved down to Kitchener first.
We thought it would be the best place to find a job as 2 engineers. So it took actually quite a while till we got a foot on the ground, both in a job. And then my visa was almost up.
He needed to find a job in his field in order to get another visa, and it was down to the wire. We had a lot of people come up to us and say, well, why don't you just get married and do your common law or do your sponsorship that way? And it just didn't feel right for us.
Megan and I always had in mind that we get married when we are ready for it, when the time has come, and we only want to get married once in our lives.
I don't know, someone was looking out for us because it all fell into place.
Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Didn't want just to have a moment at home or something and be like, hey, will you marry me? I wanted it to be special.
We had been so busy. I mean, we had just moved down to Burlington. He just said to me that week, can we just have a weekend just to chill? And I really wanted to see Monica and Wes, and Monica came to me and said, oh, hey, well, what about this weekend? And I thought, yeah, great. So I told Phil.
I'm like, no. And Megan looked at me, because that's not like me. So I called Monica next morning because I didn't have a response and told her, you need to come up with something because I have something planned here and we can't come to Kingston. That's all I can say.
So Phil comes home, I come home from work the next day, and he's like, yeah, you know, I've thought about it and we can go to Kingston, no problem. I'm like, oh, great, I'll let Monica know. Monica comes back to me and says, oh, sorry, something came up.
And I said, oh, that's so sad. Thinking at the same time though, yes, it worked.
Phil gets up at something like 8 o'clock that morning. I'm thinking, hey, let's sleep in. I thought this was supposed to be a relaxed weekend. He's like, well, I just want to go to the gym, but you stay in bed, you relax. I'll bring us back some Starbucks. And
so I went to Starbucks and had everything planned out. I made sure that the massage place knew what they had to do and everything.
I couldn't fall back asleep, so I get out of bed and I'm checking my email and there's a knock on the door. My landlord's standing there with a rose and a card. And I open the card and Phil says he's got this beautiful day planned for us and just to trust him. And
I was very nervous because I was actually making sure that everything worked out by being there and looking at her walking in and walking over. And
I pull up to Starbucks that he's giving me directions to, and I'm checking the parking lot for him. I'm checking inside the store, and he's nowhere to be found. So the barista is helping me out, and finally decide what I want. And he asks me, "Oh, okay, so your name's Megan for the cup, right?" And I'm thinking, "Yeah, but I didn't tell you what my name was." He goes, "Oh, it's okay, Phil was in here, it's all taken care of, everything's paid for," and he reaches under the counter and pulls up another Rosen card. So I finished up in Starbucks and went next door to the massage parlor and enjoyed a nice hour massage there. And the massage therapist is standing there holding another rose and a card. And finally this one is saying, "Oh, okay, you can meet up with Phil at this restaurant."
Megan comes through the door, 20 people are waiting for a table, and the lady who gives you the seat was like, "Oh, you must be Megan."
Yep, everyone seems to know who I am today. So, I mean, the minute I sit down, the food comes out, I'm crying because Phil's finally there.
And Megan's first response was, "Oh, I really thought there was a ring in the end of this." And I was telling her, "No, this is just a normal morning, you deserve it." She's like, "Oh, if you do this now, what are you gonna do when you propose?" So we sat there, had our breakfast, and in the end of it, Megan goes again, "Oh, I think there was a ring in the end of this." And is going with her hands to her face, and in that moment I pulled the ring out of my pocket. I'm like, "You mean this ring?"
And I look up and he's holding the ring across the table and he goes, "You mean this one?"
And then she just throws her hands in front of her face and started crying. To the day she still thinks she said yes before she actually started crying. And in the end, she just pushed her her finger through the ring, and I assumed that was a yes.
I said yes, if you ask me, but that's still debatable.
She said a couple times she did say yes, and she's very adamant about it, but I haven't actually heard it. No.
2, do 3 words for you. I love you. There's only one way to say the